Good morning. Good morning. See, he doesn't use a microphone we don't know. He's got a powerful voice. So to this month, we know it's I Am Love is the theme. Perfect for, February. It seems to be common that we like to talk about that in February. And in front of you is a prayer I found on the Unity website. And if you want to just settle in, I'll read it for us this morning. And it's written by Dillet Freeman. Do you need me? I am there. You cannot see me, yet I am the light you see by. You cannot hear me, yet I speak through your voice. You cannot feel me, yet I am the power at work in your hands. I am at work, though you do not understand my ways. I am at work, though you do not recognize my works. I am not strange visions. I am not mysteries. Only in absolute stillness, beyond self, can you know me as I am. And then, but as a feeling and as a faith. Yet I am there. Yet I hear. Yet I answer. When you need me, I am there. If you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray, and I am there when you do not pray. I am in you, and you are in me. Only in your mind can you feel separate from me. Only in your mind are you in the midst of yours and mine. Yet only with your mind can you know me and experience me. Empty your heart of empty fears. When you get yourself out of the way, I am there. You can of yourself do nothing, but I can do all. And I am in all. Though you may not see the good, good is there, for I am there. I am there because I have to be, because I am. Only in me does the world have meaning. Only out of me does the world take form. Only because of me does the world go forward. I am the law on which the movement of the stars and the growth of living cells are founded. I am the love that is the law's fulfilling. I am assurance. I am peace. I am oneness. I am the law that you can live by. I am the love that you can cling to. I am your assurance. I am your peace. I am one with you. I am. Though you fail to find me, I do not fail to find you. Though your faith is in me is unsure, my faith in you never wavers, because I know you, because I love you. Beloved, I am there. Amen. In searching for today, in this talk, I was searching for definitions of love. And you're not going to find the dictionary definition here because honestly, I didn't agree with it. I couldn't wrap myself around with that. That was what love really meant, it was. And then I found this prayer, and I'm like, well, that's pretty close, but that's really wordy. And we can feel it as our prayer and our meditation, and it's true. And yet, is there a friend of mine, his name is George Curry. He's a brilliant tarot card reader, and he works with me on that aspect of my own development. And he puts up little exercises. I'm in part of his group, and he put up 3 little cards, and he's like, explore what that means and give everybody a nice little message for the week. And all of us are writing down our messages. And my response back from him was, that is great, but look how many words you have in there. Look how many words. He's like, this world needs the Reader's Digest format of what you just tried to say. So I'm always like trying to find the Reader's Digest format of what is love, And I found this prayer, and I'm like, okay, that's me being wordy again, because I like that. But what is that? How can we get that into some kind of nutshell to wrap ourselves around? And I found a quote from Buddha, which is at the top of your page. And it says, love is the gift of one's most inner soul to another, so that both may be whole. I thought, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. A gift of yourself to another, so that you both can reflect back to each other. And how do we find that in ourselves, and how do we recognize that? And how do you know that you are love? There is a Hindi legend I actually posted earlier this week. And I'm just going to give you a tiny synopsis now. But the Hindi legend is that at one time on this planet, we all understood that we were part of God and that we had divinity. And that was commonplace for both man and the spirit realm to understand that it was all divine. But somewhere along the line, man's little ego started getting in the way. And the greater beings, in this case for the Hindus, they call them the lesser gods, got together and wanted to know what the heck to do with the humans. That they were not expressing their divinity in a loving fashion, that they were not using it in ways that would show the love of divinity. They were using it in ways to create whatever for themselves. So the legend has it that the lesser gods got together and they were like, well, where do we hide their divinity so they don't use it wrong? And they're like, well, let's bury it. And they're like, no, man will dig and dig and dig until they find that. You can't bury it. And let's sink it. No. Man will figure out how to hold their breath long enough to find it. And maybe we can throw it on the top of the mountain. No, they'll climb, they'll get there, and they'll find it again. And then it was decided to put it inside of them, so deep that they wouldn't go looking for it because it was so much a part of them. I was like, holy cow, isn't that how we feel sometimes? It's like, how do we get there? And here, that divine spark of love, and if we take this legend, is being hidden within you. And we spend all this time searching for God when it's right there, it's right stuck in your own selves. And that's the expression that we're trying to find. So when Buddha says that gift of showing one's soul to another, and then I saw that Hindi legend, I'm like, that's perfect, because we are trying to express, how do we find it? We keep trying to find it in everything around us. What's going to satisfy us? What's going to make us feel love? We say things like, I love the cheesecake, and I love the air, and or I love this scent, or, I love that hug, and yet really what we're feeling is our own expression in that moment. And if you think about any kind of love comes from you to begin with. Any feeling of love starts inside of you. So in Luke, he says the kingdom of God is within you. It's not just, the kingdom is the God in you. Expressing or attempting to express. And anytime, like you say, I'm in love with this, or I'm in love with a person, and really what we're in love with is that reflection that we're recognizing in our own self, our own heart, our own soul that's growing at that time. because love is generated from the inside out. It's not from the outside in. Does that make sense? You know, we can't like be in love with something else if we're not recognizing something that's sparking us from the inside. I don't know how much we think of that sometimes. You know, we're looking for that perfect something to fulfill us, and yet what we're looking for is a recognition to allow ourselves to bloom. And we can get that from anything and everywhere. There's a quote here from Dr. Brian Weiss. He says, "We are all connected, we are all the same, we are all rowing the same boat." And I love that. You know, we're all in this together in some way, and you can find that expression of love in everything, because actually it is you recognizing your own reflection back, because it's in everybody, in everything. You know, there's some people that talk to me about feeling energy through the nature of the trees, and somebody just recently asked me, they're like, you know, you hear about sometimes people being able to talk to the animals. You know, you hear like words like dog whisperer or horse whisperer, or people that just seem to have that connection with animals in some way. He's like, you don't ever hear about that with people and rocks or people and trees. And yet I'm like, yes, you do. Because there are some people that are so connected. I know a lady that literally goes out and talks to the trees. She worked with me with helping children do dream catchers. She's an artist. And what she did was she went to her own group of trees in her backyard and asked them which trees would like to help with the project. And I would have never, and you know what, quite honestly, 20 years ago, I would have thought she was a Looney Tune case, because I'm like, you did what? But I was like, when she told me that, I'm like, how incredible is that you sat down and prayed with the materials that you were going to take from Divine Earth to work with children so that they could understand connection with Earth. And that she actually fell into that. And she's like, these are the trees that led me to them. And these are the branches from those trees. I'm like, there are people out there that do have that kind of feeling with the world around them and can feel that reflection back of love in all things. You know, when you think about any kind of expression of your own soul that you're into, anything that you're into that you are passionate about, that's an expression of love from your soul. I mean, that's your talent to give to everybody else, and also the talent that you can allow to grow. When someone else's happiness is your happiness, that is love. Same kind of thing. Oscar Wilde, there's a quote from the work An Ideal Husband. It says, "It takes a great deal of courage to see the world in all its tainted glory and to still love it, and to know that the taintedness is just the perspective at the time, just our perspective and how that manifests." Dr. Emoto did a lot of work with water. And I know I've brought him up before, but his work is so fascinating in that he took words and music and places on the planet and pictures and even had children stand around water and took photos of the water being crystallized, both before and after these events. So what did it look like before the influence of something else? And what I gave you in your papers today are two pictures that were from some of his work. And in this case, he took words and placed the words on the water. So he had regular water, and I didn't give you the before, what it looked like before, but he took the water and he placed it in different vials, and then he put words on the vials. And then he took drops from those vials, and while they were being frozen under a microscope setting, he snapped these pictures on what those words were expressed like in the water. So the reflection back. What is the reflection back? And what I gave you was the one that was reflecting love and gratitude and what it looks like. And then the one that had the word evil written on it and what it looks like. And notice how the one that was not being recognized in all the fulfillment of the vine couldn't even crystallize. It couldn't make a form. It was just kind of out there. There's one of my teachers, her name is Anne Gaiman, and she likes to call evil unrealized love. That it's just unrealized. It's unimagined. It's ignorant. It just doesn't know. And in the case of not knowing or not reflecting back, it can't crystallize. And now think about that in yourselves, because what are we? I don't know. I'm going to make up a number, like 70% water, at least. Something like that. You know, now think of that with our words and our thoughts and what we're reflecting to each other. And because these were simple words placed on these vials and what the pictures look like. And how do we reflect that back to each other? So even if we're not understanding or feeling a loving moment, or maybe we're not sure how that expresses in ourselves at all, or maybe we're like the Hindi legend and we're still trying to dig around to find our little spark of divinity, which is all appropriate for this experience. And it's even appropriate to switch from one moment to the next. Like I could be having a very lovely moment and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you know, something around me happens and you have to, do you at that moment? Or do you refocus back? You know, and that's our human experience all the time. And yet to know that we can refocus back, we can reflect the words. And when somebody's in that moment with us, are we going to reflect that back to them so neither one of us can crystallize and understand love in the moment? Or are we going to try to breathe and at least come up with some word that's different than this yuck? I mean, and there's a crazy visual and real visual in-time interpretation of that. If you'd like to play with this idea at home, I did this with my children with slices of apples. And I used organic apples so that they would be totally, you know, without any kind of extra influence as much as possible. All I did was slice the apples and put them in 2 sandwich bags. And I let them come up with what I called happy words and not so happy words, you know, at their level, whatever that was. And the happy word bag, you know, after a couple days, it had a couple brown spots on it. But after a couple days, the not happy word bag, which said things like literally, because, you know, they're 9 and 10, it said, you know, your poopy head was like one of the not nice things. You know, but that bag turned moldy within 2 days. And the bag that had the smiley face drawn on it for happy, what only had a couple little brown spots on the apple after a couple days. And I was like, to do that in real time in your own house, and you don't need the microscope and everything that Dr. Emoto had in order to show how words written on a bag, and yet there's a charge in those words because we understand them in one way or another. And to know that everything has a charge from one another, but it's how we're choosing to recognize it in the moment. It's that perspective. So I'm gonna leave you with this one last thought. And that's a quote on your sheet, so if you like it, you can remember it. That says, anyone can slay a dragon, but try waking up every morning and loving the world all over again. That's what takes a real hero. We can go out and conquer anything, but can we choose to take the gratitude approach when we wake up? You know, do you do a simple little, like I started in the habit of myself, before I even pull the covers back in the morning, I have to think something nice, some kind of gratitude, you know, something that just sets that before, even if I just remember to say thank you, and those are the only 2 words that I can come up with at the time. And that's turned into part of my spiritual practice before my feet even hit the floor. You know, and in that way, I try not to just go through the day slaying the dragon. But think about that for your own spiritual practice this week. Or play with some apples. God bless. Thank you.